The relationship between Hamas and Israel is one of deep-seated animosity and violence. Hamas, considered a terrorist organization by Israel, the United States, and several other countries, controls the Gaza Strip. Formed in 1987, Hamas's founding charter explicitly calls for the destruction of Israel. Israel, viewing Hamas as an existential threat, has responded with military force and economic pressure. This has resulted in a cycle of violence, with periods of intense conflict interspersed with uneasy ceasefires. The lives of civilians on both sides are held hostage to this bitter and seemingly intractable conflict. Adding fuel to the fire is the complex geopolitical landscape of the Middle East. Regional rivalries and the involvement of external actors further complicate the situation. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is a microcosm of the larger tensions and struggles that plague the region. Despite numerous attempts at peace negotiations, a lasting solution remains elusive. The two sides remain divided on core issues such as borders, security, and the status of Jerusalem. As long as these fundamental disagreements persist, the threat of renewed violence will continue to loom large. The spark and the firestorm, the October attack. Tensions reached a boiling point in October 2023 when Hamas launched a surprise large-scale attack on Israel. The assault, which involved a barrage of rockets fired from Gaza, caught Israel off guard. Militants infiltrated Israeli territory, leading to fierce ground fighting and a significant loss of life. Israel responded swiftly and forcefully with airstrikes and a ground offensive into Gaza. The intensity of the Israeli response aimed at crushing Hamas's military capabilities resulted in widespread destruction in Gaza. The conflict quickly escalated into the deadliest between the two sides in years. The fighting sent shockwaves through the region and the world. Governments and international organizations condemned the violence and called for an immediate ceasefire. However, with both sides dug in and determined to inflict maximum damage, diplomatic efforts to broker a truce initially failed. The October attack marked a significant escalation in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The scale and audacity of the Hamas offensive, coupled with Israel's determination to dismantle Hamas's infrastructure, raised fears of a protracted and bloody conflict. A humanitarian crisis, the human cost of conflict. The conflict exacted a heavy toll on civilians on both sides of the border. In Gaza, the densely populated coastal enclave, the Israeli offensive caused widespread destruction and displacement. Hospitals, schools, and homes were reduced to rubble, leaving thousands homeless and desperate. The humanitarian situation in Gaza quickly deteriorated, with shortages of food, water, and medical supplies. The UN and other aid agencies struggled to provide assistance to the beleaguered population, hampered by the ongoing fighting and restricted access. Israel faced rocket fire from Gaza, which, while largely ineffective due to Israel's Iron Dome defense system, instilled fear and disruption in the lives of Israeli civilians. Schools and businesses were forced to close, and people sought shelter from the relentless barrages. The conflict left a trail of trauma and loss on both sides. Families on both sides mourned the loss of loved ones, and the psychological scars of violence will likely endure long after the fighting has ceased. Section 5. The long road ahead, seeking peace in the ashes. As the guns finally fell silent, the daunting task of rebuilding lives and seeking a path to peace lay ahead. The ceasefire, while fragile, offered a glimmer of hope that the cycle of violence could be broken. However, the root causes of the conflict remained unaddressed. The issues of Palestinian statehood, Israeli security concerns, and the status of Jerusalem continued to fuel mistrust and animosity. Without a political solution, the prospect of future outbreaks of violence remained a constant threat. The international community faced the challenge of facilitating meaningful negotiations between the two sides. Past peace efforts had faltered, but the latest conflict underscored the urgent need for a renewed push for peace. Ultimately, a lasting solution will require both sides to make difficult compromises. It will demand leadership,